Guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a getting ready with me video, which has been so highly requested over the past like 3 or 4 videos that I've done. You guys have been feeling my makeup as of late, and you know what? Because of it, I thought we're just gonna do a current makeup routine so you guys can see how I've been doing both my eyes and my face. So if you're interested in seeing this mug transform, just keep on watching. If you guys liked this video while you're watching it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that little red subscribe button down below before you leave. I am a stylist that posts fashion and beauty content and some vlogs as well. Oh, yeah, and some vlogs. And would love to have you come and join this community. And if you're gonna come hang out with me here, you may as well hop on over to Instagram, as that's also where I tend to be super active, as well as my private Facebook group, the Style Squad, where thousands of women are posting daily outfit inspiration, their daily outfits, their daily outfit vlogs, shopping finds, and they're getting behind the scenes monthly Q&As from yours truly, as well as behind the scenes styling tips. So I'd love to have you guys come and join me. The link for that will be down below. Okay, now with any getting ready with me video, it wouldn't be the same without my cat ears, which these were from Forever 21. I can't even remember how long ago. I think it might have been back in the summer, or if, oh my gosh, it might have even been before then. But they're from Forever 21. I just thought they were cute because of the little like bling, and I'd had a couple of glasses of wine when I went in there with the girlfriend, so they were extra appealing at the time. And if you guys want, you can join me with a cup of coffee, because I don't really feel like you can get ready in the morning without your coffee. You know what I mean? Okay, first is disclaimer. I just put on some self-tan, both on my face, just a touch on my face, and on my body. So if at first my foundation doesn't look like it matches my neck, I promise you it will once the tan has set in, if you will. So don't worry for me. It'll get there. But to start things off, I always begin with an SPF. I have recently switched over to the La Mer SPF 50. This is their UV protecting fluid SPF. I have really been enjoying this. I just wanted to switch up from the Shiseido one I was using prior, and saw that this La Mer product had good reviews. I've never ever tried anything by La Mer before, but I've been pleasantly surprised with this because it hasn't altered the texture of my foundation or made any of my foundations look blotchy or patchy by the end of the day, which I know some SPFs can definitely do. In case any of you wonder why I'm looking down throughout the video, it's just because there's a mirror here for me. Because I can't get ready in the camera viewfinder. It's not big enough. The next product to go on is my primer. Currently, I am using the Scandinavia Makeup Primer Spray. This one's just super simple. You just spritz it on your face and you're good to go. I'm still using the Kat Von D I was using before, but I just like the ease of this one. You just spritz it on and off you go. My favorite products at the moment that you guys have seen in one of my vlogs, and then my January favorites, is the By Terry Cellular Rose CC cream, or CC serum, sorry, that has a combination of both skincare product and a little bit of an illuminator in it, just to give your skin a really beautiful glow underneath your foundation. So I only ever take 2 pumps. I don't really find I need a lot, sometimes maybe 3. Just gives this like beautiful sheen to the skin, and I don't have like nice skin to begin with. Like, it's very sun damaged. But if I'm feeling lazy and I'm at home on, like, let's say a lazy Sunday and I have to go out and run errands, I'll just throw a little bit of this on with my SPF and I'll call it a day. I don't really care. All right, next up is foundation. Now, I'm sure you guys are probably anticipating that I'll pull out something by MAC, but no, your girl has switched it up. I'm actually using something drugstore recently and have really been enjoying the L'Oreal Infallable Pro Matte foundation. This is one I kind of forgot about. I think I was using it last year, if I'm not mistaken, and then decided to try it out again this year because I remembered how much I really enjoyed this formula. And in case any of you are curious, I'm number 104 Golden Beige when I tan, and I just love the finish of this matte foundation. It's so beautiful, and for a drugstore foundation, this stays on your skin for such a long time. So I'm recently having a bit of a love affair with it. If any of you have oily skin, this this foundation would be amazing. My skin errs a little bit more on the normal to dry side, but I find it doesn't like crease or dry out my skin too much. But if you do have oily skin, this would be lovely. For Tarte's Shape Tape, I'm going to be using the color Light Medium, and I'm going to swing this under my eyes on either side. I love this concealer because it is full coverage, which is great because I look like I've been hit by a bus when I wake up in the morning. Really attractive. Press it into my skin, and I'm going to lift this right onto my lid as well, just because concealer oftentimes can act like a primer on the lid, especially once you've set it. So I like to do that just to skip having to do the extra step. Okay, now that the concealer is on, it's always good to set it just to make sure you don't get any creasing anywhere. Especially for on top of the lids, if you're like me and have a hooded eye, you always want to set the eyelid area just to make sure, again, you don't get any creasing after you put your makeup on. So I like just to put a little bit underneath the eye and on top of the lid using the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. Same thing with the face. I'm going to set it using the MAC Studio Care Blend Pressed Powder in, what color is this? Medium Plus, just to set the makeup in place, make sure foundation doesn't go moving anywhere. So again, I'm just going to press that lightly into my face. Okay, now that that's on, I'm going to be moving on to bronzer, and today I'm going to be using the Annabelle Biggie Bronzer. This is matte, and I'm just going to sweep that along the temples and the top of my forehead, just because you want bronzer to be or sit in the areas that the sun naturally hits on your face, because you're not trying to make yourself more tanned when you're wearing your bronzer. You just want to warm up the skin a little bit. And I always like to sweep it just sort of gently along my cheekbone area, and then again just around the arc of my brow and temples. And then with what's left over, I like to sweep it across the front of the forehead and then lightly brush it down just so it blends in, because you don't want any harsh lines across your face. The part that you guys have been asking about more than anything is my eye makeup. That's what all of you have been asking about, and I have religiously been using the Too Faced Just Peachy Matte, or is it, yeah, Just Peachy Mattes palette. I really, really love this palette. It just has all these really beautiful warm tones, and especially these gorgeous like coral shades and some of the peach tones that are in there. It just works for my complexion in particular. I really, really love this, and I'm also obsessed with this sort of like dark chocolatey color that's up here. It's almost this like charcoal brown, which is really beautiful. So this is what I have been using, and this is what we are going to use today. What I'm going to go in with first is the color Peaches and Cream, which is this lightest sort of peach shade here. And I'm going to go in with a large fluffy brush. This is by Sigma. This is their tapered blending brush, E40. Just a nice rounded fluffy brush. And what I'm going to do with it is just press it into my crease starting from the outer corner, and then sweeping it over in a windshield wiper motion to the inner portion of my eye. Just as I always tell my clients, you want to build slowly with makeup, especially with eyeshadow colors. It's better to build slow and add pigment if you haven't added enough, rather than just to dump a bunch of it all at once on. And it'll also give you the opportunity to blend everything out a little bit easier too if you do that. So just keep sweeping back and forth. And you can do it until you get the desired sort of peachy color that you want. I like to sweep it out towards my brow. So next I like to go in with actually two colors. I like to go in with Peach Cobbler, which is this shade right here, and then the one on the bottom, or top in this case, which is called Peach Sangria, this sort of like cranberry color. And I'm going to take it on a smaller tapered brush. This is the E55 or E25, I'm sorry, from Sigma. And I just like to dip my brush in both once. And then what I'm going to do is also put it in the crease starting on the outer corner and work my way in, just to build up that color and start to give it a little dimension and depth. Again, I like to sweep it out slightly towards my brow, and then I also like to bring it downward a little bit towards my lash line. And then you can just deepen as you go. Now when I'm going through the crease, I also like to make small circular motions just to make sure that it blends in nicely to the last shade that you put on, just again, so there's no harsh lines and everything looks really nice and blended in. So once that portion of my makeup's on, the next thing I like to go and do is to step into the lower lash line. And for that, I love to use this Peach Punch that's right here, this really bright sort of coral color. I think it adds a really nice touch to the lower lash line, and then I'll add some darker colors later on just to sort of smudge it out and smoke it out a little bit. But this color is so beautiful. It's the one that really caught my eye when I was first looking at this palette. I use it all the time. So we're gonna put that under the lash line with a small pencil brush. This is the Sigma Pencil E30. I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs. They're wandering around in the background. But this is what I'm going to put under the lash line. I'm just fluffing it in and connecting it to the outer portion here. And then sweeping it towards the inner corner. I always feel like getting that lower lash line like really opens up the eye a little bit. It always just makes makeup, to me anyway, look a little bit more finished. Bonus is that if you use a shadow underneath your eye, opposed to an eyeliner all on its own, you'll get less smudging by the end of the day, because some women complain about how their eyeliner kind of smudges down or downward throughout the day. You'll get less of that if you put a shadow down first. So now once the under eye area is done, what I like to do is go in with one of my favorite brushes, which is this teeny tiny little thing. It is by Sigma. It is the E47 Crease Shader Brush. And I like to take both this brown and this sort of charcoal color, and I like to mix them in with the brush together. So I'll take like one dip of the brown and then two of the like sort of more charcoal shade. And what I like to do here is take the outer corner of my eye, like pointing towards my eyebrow, and just sort of draw or brush in a light line towards my lash line, and then sweep the brush up and around my crease. And again, it's just to give a little bit of depth and shadowing to the outer corner of my eye. But I find this brush gives a really beautiful silhouette or shaping to the outer corner of the eye, which is what I love so much about it. So I always pack on the initial color with this, and then I'll go back in without putting any more color on the smaller E25 brush, and I just lightly blend in over top of it just to make sure that everything's blended out, there's no harsh lines. And I'm gonna go in once more with a little bit more just to deepen it out. So now that that color's been put on the outer portion of my eyelids, I actually like to go in with the Jaclyn Hill by Morphe palette, and I like to use some of the glitter shadows that are in here. In particular today, I'm going to use this light one here and the one next to it, so I'm just going to mix them together. I just love her formula in this palette. I've been obsessed with it. It was definitely one of my favorite purchases in 2017, like, oh, so good. So I'm just gonna put this on top of my lid for just a little hint of shimmer. Oh, like I love that. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. I'm just kind of layering it once and fluffing her in, if you will. All right, now after that, I'm going to address the bottom half of my lower lash line. So we put that brighter pink color underneath initially, and now I'm gonna go in with the chocolate color that we had begun with this smaller angled brush. This was also from Sigma. It's called the small angle, E65. And I'm going to just take it and trace it along my lower lash line. And then once I have that deeper color on, I'm gonna go back in with the E25 brush, so the small taper blending, and I'm just going to fluff all of that together just to make sure that the lower lash line is blended and smoked out appropriately. Now, if you want, you can take a little bit of extra eyeshadow. I just use what's left on the brush. That's just my personal preference, but you can do whatever you like. So what I like to use for eyeliner is the Marcelle Forever Sharp. This is their Blackest Black waterproof kohl eyeliner. And what I like to do just to give my lashes the appearance of a really full lash line is to take it and put it on the upper waterline or my tight line in my eye. So I just look one way and get the top half of my eye, and I really like to smudge it in there. And then I'll look the other way and get the other half or the other side. And then I also like to do the exact same thing on the bottom waterline as well. Only difference with the waterline is once it's been drawn in there, I like to take my ring finger and I look up and I just slightly smudge or brush it in with my finger into my lash line. It just gives this slightly smoked out look to my lower lash line. It may not be overly professional to use my fingers, but that's what I do. For my mascara, I'm so boring. I never change it up. I always use the L'Oreal Voluminous Primer lash base. I've been using it for years now. It's just my favorite. I don't ever seem to stray for it. And I used to think it was such a marketing gimmick to use like a primer, but I don't know whether the marketing's just seeped in and got me or what, but I swear it makes a difference. Then I'm going to follow up with the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara. This is an oldie of theirs. It's been around since, gosh, I was in high school. But I love it, so I'm going to follow that up on top. And for lashes, I always put on 2 coats. 1 coat is totally fine. I just find that 2 coats really gives your lashes this really beautiful oomph. So I always put 2. Now the first thing I'm going to do quickly is just brush through my brows. Now mine are microbladed, so I don't typically do much with them because it's really not necessary. Like they look totally fine. Although on this one here that I'm brushing out, I did cover it a little bit with foundation. So I'm just, rather than trying to smudge it away, I'm just going to go over it with a pencil brush really quickly. This is the Annabelle medium brown, or sorry, universal brown, I think. Universal medium, my apologies, brow pencil. So I'm just going to fill it in slightly. Next up is some blush. I'm going to be using this Too Faced Love Flush Love Hangover blush. That's a tongue twister. And this is just a travel size one, but I love this color. I use it religiously, so I'm going to take a little bit of this and just put it on the apples of my cheeks. And now that that blush is on, I'm going to be going into a highlighter. My favorite, at least when I'm tanned anyway, is the Jaclyn Hill Face Palette. I always use a mixture of both Champagne Pop and I think this one's called Prosecco. Is that, oops. Ooh! Oh, did you see that? Look, all of it just fell out. Okay, literally that highlighter just fell all over my carpet. What a freaking mess. But I managed to scavenge and get some pieces, so I'm going to dip my highlight brush into Champagne Pop and Prosecco. I'm just going to add a little bit to my top of my cheekbone and down on the apple of my cheek a little bit. I just love the glow, so cute. I always find it's a nice like finish to any look. And then the last step to this makeup look is some lipstick. I have been loving the KKW cream lipstick in the color Kimmy. This is what I've been using on my lips religiously lately, so we're gonna throw that on as well. And then once the face is on, I always set with my Scandinavia makeup finishing spray. This is their bridal finishing spray that lasts up to 16 hours for your makeup, which I love. I use it on my brides when I'm doing their makeup. And yeah, they just hold it all into place. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up before you leave. Hit the little red subscribe button down below. And I love you guys to the moon and back, and I will see you again very soon. Mwah. See ya.